Hi everyone, I'm Chris, certified RV technician for Unique Camping and Marine. Recently, we were out at the Lake Havasu Escapers Bash, which we had an amazing time at, and we were able to speak with a whole bunch of RVers who were asking questions about all sorts of things involving holding tanks, and it was a ton of fun getting to meet everyone and speak with them. But one of the questions which came up quite a few times was, how do I get rid of a sticky black water holding tank valve? We actually got it so many times that we're gonna make a quick video on it, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to discuss when it comes to sticky black tank valves is, why is this happening? And it can happen for one of two reasons or both reasons at the same time. So when you go to dump the black water holding tank, a lot of the times we're just letting everything rush out of there. And there are occasional times where there's a line at the dump station, or you just need to get on the move or something like that, where we close off the black tank valve, and anything which was left behind from that initial dump can get pushed into the pathway of where that knife blade actually is. It can get stuck in between that and the gasket, which seals it off. So that can be the first place where you can get stickiness starting to occur. As you let the RV just sit there, like when it's not in use or while you're driving down the road, air is also drying out everything in that area, which can also make the valve feel sticky. The other place where you can get a sticky valve is actually from the shaft itself. This is a lubricated piece, and if you run out of lubrication on it, it can become very difficult to open and close the valve. So now that it's time to actually fix the sticky valve, there's a couple of ways which we recommend to go about doing this. So if you are at an area which you can fill the black water holding tank filled with fresh water, one of the best ways to break some of that debris free is to get it so that the water line is well above where the discharge port is. So basically fill it as full as you can get the black water holding tank, and then gently crack open the valve, maybe 1/4 of an inch in the pull, and then slowly open the valve, and that will allow water to be forced through that smaller opening. This can break free a lot of the debris which is built up inside of the tracks and across the blade itself. Then, once you have the blade fully open, work it back and forth several times while water is still rushing past it. This will allow for any additional debris to be worked free from the track of the blade, and this can help get most of the debris out of there. Sometimes just running water past it is not enough to clear out debris which is built up in the gasket chamber in between the knife valve and the rest of the assembly. So in order to clear this out, we highly recommend placing an additional bayonet fitting style knife valve on it so you can shut off water flow so no water is able to leave that area. Then with the original valve in the open position and the added on valve in the closed position, fill that area up with as much water as it takes to actually cover that area. It does take quite a few gallons of water in order to make sure that all of this is submerged. Then we recommend adding a bottle of Clear It into the black water holding tank and allow it to sit for as much time as possible. Sometimes all that it takes is overnight, 8 to 12 hours in order to break up the debris. Other times it can take a little bit longer, 24 to 72 hours, depending on how much debris is built up inside there. And before you dump and open the secondary valve which you've added on there, we highly recommend moving the valve back and forth a few times in order to clear out anything which might be stuck in there. Usually this is enough to break through any debris in toilet paper which might have gotten stuck in the path of the knife valve. When it comes to preventative maintenance, we have a few recommendations here as well. If you just need to lubricate the shaft of the valve itself, then all that we recommend that you do is apply a dry lube occasionally in order to make sure that it's moving freely. We also recommend that it is a dry lube and not something like WD-40, because these can attract a lot of dust, and that can actually build up inside of the chamber itself, which is much more difficult to clear out. So always go with a dry lube. Whenever you lubricate the shaft, be sure and work it back and forth with an empty tank several times in order to make sure that it's moving freely in the way which it should. When it comes to the blade itself, we always highly recommend doing a couple of rinses by filling up the tank and dumping it completely as many times as you can after each one of the dumps that you have. This should move water past the gaskets and the knife blade itself in order to move any debris out of the way, and it should keep you from having to have this problem in the future. Well, we hope you've found this at least helpful when it comes to freeing a sticking black tank valve. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are curious about diving a little bit further into depth when it comes to black tank valves, join us on our other channel, Camper Care, where I'll actually be dissecting one to see exactly what the internals look like. If you feel like we missed anything or if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.